All right. Again, a very warm welcome to everybody who's today with us on this webinar. My name is Gaurav Shekhar. I'm the Program Director for the Graduate Business Analytics Program here at the Jindal School of Management. I'm also the Assistant Dean for the Graduate Programs. Today's session, the agenda is very simple. What we'll do is we'll spend the next 10 to 15 minutes talking about the various aspects of the program, giving you some information that you may have received if you have attended one of our previous webinars, but if not, this is a lot of good information that you will have, but what is the most important thing for us are your questions, and we want to make sure that we give enough time for that. So we'll take about 15 minutes with our presentation, then jump into the questions. As Sylvia mentioned in the chat before, the best way to ask questions is put them in the chat, because that way at least we can go through all your questions and make sure that we're not missing any. So with that, let me ask the quintessential question: why business analytics? And I'm not talking about business analytics at UT Dallas, but generally, why business analytics? Why is this degree a key need right now? One of the most important things that the world has seen in the last, I would say, 30 years is how much the integration of technology has been in different aspects of our life. And if you think about the 70s, maybe, that was when people started using technology the way we are doing it today, but that was just a start. Now, 70s is very important because that's when the computers came into our homes, into small organizations. It came out of big government facilities, and they were now available for the common man. And when that happens, it has a lot of power. Why? Because now people are using computers for all sorts of things. Even if they're a small business, they are using some kind of computer. Every computer has applications on it, and every application's one single job is to manage data. So in a sense, it has always been about data. But it wasn't until the late 90s that they really thought about what they should do with that data. Of course, the leaders were always looking into things, which is very similar to what we see in analytics, but it wasn't a widespread thing. It wasn't like everybody, whether they were big or small, was having a data-focused eye. And that changed because when people started seeing the benefits of looking through their data, understanding the knowledge, the patterns, trying to figure out what that data is telling them, whether it is hits, misses, how do you make sure that you maximize on your profits? How do you make sure that you cut on your losses? There were a lot of questions that were answered by data, and keeping data at the heart of it was very beneficial for these companies. But then when you understand that, okay, there is a particular need, the next thing that you need is people, resources who will help you with that kind of data analysis. So this need for having people who were data literate and could do a lot around data was what drove these companies to look for trainers, who could teach these different analytic skills. But when the need for these skills was growing, it grew at a pace that the companies were not able to just fulfill it using the trainers. So at that point of time, the best friend of the industry comes into picture, and that's the academia. And they looked around and they turned to academia that give us people who are trained in this. The first analytics program, to be very honest, wasn't too long ago. It was in 2007. So 15, 16 years ago is when the first analytics program really came up. It was a small program here in the US. But the next 5-7 years saw a lot of universities, big and small, starting an analytics program. And that's how we started ours in 2014. So this is the 9th year running. We're going strong into the 10th year. The question is, why I'm telling you all this is because if you're thinking of this degree as just another degree, that's totally fine. There's no problem. But I think you should really understand that how this investment of time and resources and money and whatnot is going to help you for the next 10, 15, 20, 25 years. There is an acknowledgement by companies that they need data focus. There is an acknowledgement they need trained professionals. That's a good thing. The other thing is any industry, even the traditional ones where you would not think of computers immediately, real estate, for example. I mean, everybody is using analytics to make sure that they are making the right decisions. The cost of the wrong decision has scaled up tremendously in the last 20 years. One wrong decision can lose 20, 30, 40, 50 billion dollars very easily. And that can happen to any company. A lot of times we hear about them in the news, a lot of times we don't. But people make wrong decisions all the time. And that's where what they do is they say, okay, the tool that we have at hand is some kind of analytics focus, and let's use it to make sure that we cut on our losses. The good news for you and bad news for the industry is that there is a dearth of qualified professionals, people who really understand what is analytics. Using a few pivots, doing some averages on Excel, making a couple of visualizations is not analytics. There is far more things than that, and that's what we teach in the program. So if you're thinking of an analytics degree, you're thinking about it at the right time. With things like generative AI and all, the need for having data focus has just scaled up. And that's where folks like you will be very benefited from this. Now, you might be in you might think about a lot of different programs and different universities. Here's the thing, our program focuses primarily on analytics, which means because it's an analytics program. But the thing is, any course that you take, even electives, you will be learning something about analytics. Now, if you tell yourself, well, I'll watch a few videos, or I'll just take a course or two here and there for a few weeks and be done with it, and I'll be very trained in analytics, that's the wrong thought. Let me help you there itself. Dipping your toes doesn't give you the proficiency. It gives you understanding, a bit of understanding. But if you really want a rigorous program that can help you pave way for the next 20, 25 years of your life, this is the program to do it. Because the program has been structured in a way that anybody who wants to have laser focus on analytics and wants to make their lives better in whichever role they are, this program gives you the tools. Some of the features of our program, is flexibility. Very flexible. There are several things that we do in the program in terms of, when do you take your classes? Day, night, evening? How many credits do you take in a semester? In what order you take them? A lot of flexibility is given to you because at the end of the day, this is your experience that you're crafting. We are here to guide you, but we want you to have that liberty of deciding what you want to learn, how you want to learn. Engagement is key. What you do in the class is one thing, but what you do outside of the class is equally important and sometimes more important. We want to give you a 360-degree makeover is what our goal is. And then we are very focused on outcomes. What we are proposing, even if there are events, there are new classes that we are bringing in, we look at how is this helping our students. Looking at the structure of the program, it's a 36 credit hour program. Half of the credits are core classes, half of them are electives. And we'll quickly look into our catalog briefly. But there are 10 tracks in the program that are spread around, accounting, data science, data engineering, cybersecurity, decision analytics around supply chains, financial, healthcare, marketing, social media, enterprise systems. We teach enterprise systems using SAP. We're one of the strongest partners of SAP. We are a STEM designated program. So if your employer is looking for STEM designation, there you go. If you're an international student, there are benefits of being in a STEM designated program because you have extended OPT benefits. After you graduate, you can work longer on your student visa. Why us? We are the largest in the country as an on-campus program. And being the largest program has so many benefits. First of all, so students have to take 6 electives. There are 74 choices for you to pick from. If we were not large, we wouldn't be able to offer so many electives. So that is one thing. The other thing is when employers come to hire from us, they don't have to really go to multiple universities because in one place they can get all the people that they need to hire, and they are highly skilled people. Our average salary upon graduation is $100,000, and which is mostly for people with 0 to 2 years of experience. We've seen with every year of experience that you come in with, you add $10,000 on top of this average number. We have partnerships with dozens of companies. And then when I say partnership, it's not just simple hi, hello on email. We have these partnerships because these people are working with us not only as companies that are hiring from us, but they are engaging in our classrooms. They are speaking in our classrooms. They're working with our students on projects. They're mentoring them. They are serving as competition judges. I mean, they're doing a plethora of things that helps. In terms of return on investment, UT Dallas is ranked #1 in the state of Texas in the return, when you look at it from a return on investment perspective. I'll give you an example. A lot of our students, full-time students, they take an education loan. It could be anywhere from $50,000 to $80,000. Let's just put a figure there. And most of the companies that give them loans give them a period of 7 to 20 years to pay back. Most of our students are paying back in 2 years, 2 to 3 years. And that's happening because they're making that kind of money. They're living comfortably, they're able to support their families, they're able to have extra money out there, but they're able to pay their loans back as well, very comfortably. So that speaks volumes about what the program can do for you. In terms of internships, that is an extremely important part of the program. We see on average about 600, 700 internships every year. About $30 an hour is what we see people getting paid. And what we've seen is there is a 1:2 ratio with intern versus full-time pay. So if you're an intern and you earn $1, for a similar job as a full-timer, you will earn $2. So with $30 an hour, we see it congruent with our full-time pay that we know. There are 3 formats of the program. There is a flex program that has all these different tracks. 80% of the classes are face-to-face, 20% online. So if you need to mix in an online class as well, you can do that. These are self-paced, which means you decide how soon or how late you want to do your degree. The fastest you can finish the program is 1 year, but you get a max of 6 years. And nobody takes 6 years, but if you want to do it in 1.5, 2 years, that's the average that we have seen, that can be done. So that's upon you. It's state funded, which means as the number of credits in a semester increase, the per credit hour rate goes down. So the tuition is it's not a linear figure that it's directly related to the number of credits that you're taking. In fact, the max number of credits that you can take is 18 in a semester. We don't recommend it, but you can do that. Anything above 12 credits is tuition free for that one semester. So if you take 15 credits in a semester, let's say that's 5 courses, credit number 13, 14, 15 will be free. That's the benefit of the state funded. If you become a TA in the program, and if you're an out-of-state student, you pay in state tuition. We also have 2 other flavors, cohort and online programs. They have 2 of the 10 tracks that we have. So the cohort program has data science and accounting analytics. Again, most of the classes are face-to-face with a few online, and then it is also self-paced. You can finish the degree between 1 to 6 years. Online has 2 tracks, data science and data engineering. Mostly working professionals or people who want to have the flexibility at hand are the ones who are pursuing it online, but it's 100% online and again, self-paced. We do need GRE or GMAT scores, but waivers are available for people. And of course, there are scholarships as well, and we'll get into that in a moment. So what are the application requirements? As I said, we need the GRE, GMAT waivers. If you don't, scores. If you don't submit them, then you can just submit an application and send an email to JSON GR Advising requesting a waiver, and they will put you in the queue. We will look at your undergrad performance, and we'll see if you were to write, that's how we determine. If you were to write the GRE, would you have sufficient score to get into the program? Transcripts, again, we need unofficial is okay, scan copies for us to make a decision, but once you're admitted, we would need official transcripts and your degree certificate as well. If you don't have your degree certificate, which means you have recently graduated from your undergrad degree, not a problem. Universities give provisional degrees, we accept that as well. Resume, we need your resume. If you have work experience, great, it's a requirement. But if you don't have work experience, it's not that we are going to just not evaluate you. We will. Then there is, I would say, about 15-20% of our students who don't have work experience, but they are accepted in the program. So don't let your work experience, not having work experience or not having relevant work experience be a deterrent. Any work experience is good, and if you don't have it, please still go ahead and submit your application. We need 3 letters of recommendation. If you have 2 years of experience, then 1 will do. But if you have no experience at all, then we'll need 3. Out of the 3, we will need at least 1 to be from a working professional. Now, this person may have worked with you, may not have worked with you. They are a working professional. That's all that qualifies them. And of course, a personal objective statement, which talks about whether, why this degree and how does this fit into your future. We don't have any application fee waiver per se for most of our candidates. However, there are some organizations for which if you qualify, you will be able to get this application fee waiver. These organizations are located in the US. These are nonprofit 501c3s. If you go to our website, you will find information. We'll actually put that link in the chat shortly so that you know what organizations it is. In case you're an international student, I can tell you that none of those organizations would apply to you, so you will have to go with the application. So we are past the scholarship deadline for December 1st, but for fall 24, the scholarship deadline is May 1st. I would strongly recommend not waiting until May 1st because these are given out on a rolling basis. I mean, if you apply late, you might have a great profile and everything would be great, but we may not have the funds to really give you a scholarship. Or as we get closer to the May 1 deadline, the qualifier for you to get a scholarship, and there are multiple things that we look into. We look into your overall profile, we look at your test scores, we look at your undergrad GPA, we look at your resume, everything to make that determination. There are TA ships also available. If you don't get a scholarship, don't be disheartened. You can always apply to be a TA. Again, TAs come with benefits like, if you're an out-of-state student, you become in-state from a tuition perspective, and then the health insurance is paid, and then you get a monthly salary of about $1,000 a month. But again, you cannot be a TA as an incoming new student. You have to spend at least one semester at UT Dallas and then apply. While you're in your first semester, you can apply for a TA ship in the second semester. A few numbers I want to throw some light on, some of our internships over the past 5 years. Companies like Ericsson, Copart, Amazon, Southwest, they have big presence here in Dallas. Lennox International, Copart, which I think SLR, the glass company. They all have headquarters here, and they hire a lot of our students. But I also wanted to show you some of the titles. It's not always around analytics, but marketing analytics, business intelligence, data analyst, data scientist, data engineer. Data X, that's what I want to say, is what our students pursue. The industries as well. Now, one of the reasons why this is important is because we always think that analytics is all about IT and software, but you can see only about 25% of the industries are in that space. Analytics is something that's required everywhere. So our students do pursue those internships at a lot of different places. First-hand accounts of what our students are doing. On LinkedIn, if you go and type #UTDMSBA under content, you will see all these stories. These are first-hand accounts of our students working at different places, at jobs, and what they do at those jobs. So if you are looking for an internship or a full-time job and you want to see what these people do really, these are good accounts to read. As we talked about engagement, we have more than 400 student organizations, 450 student organizations at UT Dallas, and about 70 of them are in the business school. These are some of the organizations where our students from the program are leaders. SAP Users Group, Salesforce, Project Management Club, Women in Technology, Toastmasters, Marketing Analytics Club, Intelligence Analytics Society, Envision, which is for data visualization. And like that, there are so many different clubs that they are part of. So again, from an engagement perspective, these are great things to do in the school as a student because it helps you develop your leadership skills, and it also gives you that satisfaction of contributing back to the school. One bonus thing, we do have certificate programs, which means these are micro degrees that are carved out of our MSBA degree program. And what you do is they have 3 or 4 courses. You take those courses, you get an average B in those classes, you get an additional diploma from UT Dallas, which it's just extra value for the money that you're paying. So if you're a degree seeking student and you took a certificate that also can count towards your degree program, then first of all, you don't have to take that class twice. You don't have to take those credits twice. You don't have to pay twice. These degree programs, these certificate programs are I would say in the range of $15,000 to $20,000 based on your residency. As a master's student, you can get this for free, and you can get multiple for free. So you're really expanding on the value of money that you are spending at UTD. And finally, our contact details, our emails, msboan@utdallas.edu is the best email to send us your questions. But I will take a moment and just look into the catalog. So we talked about the core classes. These are the 6 core classes. There are options for you for one of the classes, but 6 classes that you can take. Companies will ask you questions like, what happened? Advanced stats will teach you how to answer that. What will happen? Predictive analytics will help you learn that. What do you recommend? Prescriptive analytics. Does it make economic sense? Applied econometrics. These are core questions that are asked day in and day out in organizations. And you get to answer them because you are trained in those classes. My apologies. But just looking at all the electives that are out there, and all you have to do is just pick 6. You can pick all of them from one track. You can pick them from multiple tracks. You don't have to declare any track, but these are options available for you. I will actually just put this in the chat so that we have it here.
I already put it there.
You did. Thank you.
Yeah. Yep.
All right. So what we'll do at this point is just start going through the questions that you have put in the chat. We see a lot of them, so thank you for doing that. Okay, so the first one is from Loveleen. How the JSOM scholarship process works. Okay, so the JSOM scholarship process is simple. Once you apply, you're admitted, just send in an application for your scholarship. It's a separate application. And what we do is we review your application every few weeks. So the pool is reviewed every few weeks to see who our applicants are. The committee will have certain criteria. They will look at your profile. They will look at your scores, test scores. They will also look at your undergrad GPA and all. By the way, if you want a scholarship, a GRE or a GMAT score is mandatory. You may have gotten an admission with a waiver for test scores, but if you want to go for a scholarship, we will ask you for your test score. Official test score to be sent to us. But the committee looks at all these different things, and then they look at where you stand in the pool. If you make the cut, they will let you know that you've been given a scholarship. Here is the time by which you need to accept it, etc. All that will come to your email. If you're not accepted, they will put your name back in the pool, because the next time when they come, they might have lowered the criteria a little bit, okay, or changed it, tweaked it, and it can be tweaked in a way that it might become very favorable to you for whatever reason. So you are not rejected if you don't make it in one round. We will do this all the way until May 1st. So you might end up going through multiple pools, multiple iterations before you get your scholarship. It takes people 2 or 3 times sometimes. Well, at the end, again, we know our pool is very competitive. If you don't make it, then after May 1st, you will receive an email from us that we were not able to give you a scholarship. A lot of our students, good students, don't come with a scholarship, but with what they do at UT Dallas, they're able to earn TA-ships, they're able to earn second-year scholarships. I mean, there are so many ways to substantiate yourself. We are also getting ready to do a financial planning webinar. We do have one recording on our YouTube channel of the school, and we'll put that link in the chat. But we are ready to do this again. If you are a fall 24 applicant, you will see an invite come to you soon about a financial planning webinar as to how you can do that. Sodik, is there funding available for MSD? It's MS in Business Analytics. It is available, and we just talked about that. I want to talk about what the scholarship looks like. So if you get this Dean's Excellence Scholarship, it's $1,000 that is given to you as a scholarship. But on top of it, if you're an out-of-state student for 2 long semesters, for 2 semesters, if you're a fall student, your tuition will become in-state. So the savings that you have on your tuition per semester is about $8,000 to $9,000. So the total benefit of your scholarship over a fall and a spring semester is anywhere between $17,000 to $20,000 in tuition. You don't get the actual money, but your tuition, your residency is changed from a tuition perspective, and that helps you save all that money. David Smith, so is it possible to select electives by combining different tracks? Absolutely, you can do that. You don't have to stick to any one track. When will the scholarship application open for fall 24? We just opened it, in fact. I think it was opened not too long ago, yesterday, or maybe day before. But if you don't see that, just send an email separately to us. What is the credit count for each semester? So the max you can take in a semester is 18. Generally, our students take 9, 12. Some of them take 15, but I would not recommend going beyond 12 because there are so many things you're doing in the school, you need time for that. But I would say 9 to 12 is what people take, but the max is 18 that you can take in a semester. Are CPT and OPT options accessible? Will there be on-campus TRA? Absolutely. So CPT, if you're an international student, you need to spend 2 long semesters in the US before you're eligible for CPT, and internships are required for the program. So you end up doing that. Our students, I would say 70% of them at least pursue 2 internships before they graduate. OPT, of course, because it's every program in the US gets OPT, but if you're an international student, but because we are STEM designated, you get additional 2 years. So a total of 3 years that you can have on your OPT. There are on-campus positions that you can apply from the very first day, but TARA positions are available from the second semester. What comes next in the process after submitting the transcript? So what I would do is we'll put this link in the chat. There is a checklist that's there that can help you exactly with what your steps are, right from the time you apply to the time you come to UT Dallas and beyond. So we'll put that in the chat right away. Can you provide further details about the process for obtaining I-20? Absolutely. So if you, and we'll put this link, if you just Google receive I-20 UT Dallas, the first link or the second link that pops up talks about the process. But what you really need to do in this is you need to provide your financials. Without a scholarship, that's $59,000. And then with a scholarship, I believe it's $42,000 that you have to show. It could be loans, it could be your own savings, it could be sponsors like your family members or somebody who might be a sponsor that they provide their bank statement. So providing multiple bank statements is okay. A loan letter that says that you have got a loan sanction for X $1,000 is also acceptable. There are multiple categories in which you can show that you have $59,000 without a scholarship and about $42,000 with scholarship. And ISSO takes about 7 to 10 business days to review it and issue you an I-20. Syed, your question is, as an applicant without any IT or analytics academic background, what is any prerequisite? Great question. Again, it's not a requirement, but it is strongly recommended that you have some understanding of things here. Now, we do a lot of boot camps before the semester begins. We also have courses that are foundational courses that you can take in the very first semester whose credits will count towards the degree. But I would say if you're just prepping yourself, something that you can do for, maybe R, Python, and SQL, if these 3 things, you can help yourself learn just the basics. There are so many free resources available. I mean, if you just Google like free course R or free course SQL or free course Python, lots of resources are there. Dip your toes, get acquainted with what it is, write a little bit of code there. I'm not asking you to be an expert by the time you come to UT Dallas in these. If you are, great. If you're not, then just going through some basics will help. Our boot camps will be the help that you will need for this because they are geared in a way that they help directly with your courses. And then, as I said, we have foundational courses. Like there is a foundational course for programming. There's a foundation that teaches you R and Python in 1 semester. There's a foundational course for databases, that teaches you databases. So all that can be taken in the first semester also if you want. But see, telling yourself that you've not had this background, IT and CS helps, but it's not mandatory. In fact, depending on what you have worked in IT and CS or what kind of background you have, you might not have the right skills for for business analytics. So, and that shouldn't be a deterrent because you can always build those skills. It's a master's program, things will go a little faster, but there are enough resources available to you. Okay, Janvi, I have a few doubts regarding enrollment to do. They've asked for submission of official copies of transcripts and professional certificates. I'm currently in my final year of pursuing bachelor's degree. I've already submitted transcripts for first 6 semesters. However, I'm yet to receive official transcript for all 8 semesters. I'm expecting my final results in April. Consequently, I won't be able to submit the provisional degree certificate and transcripts for all 8 until May. Okay, so not a problem. You're in your getting in your final year, or you are in your final year. Whatever mark sheets, you won't have your transcript because you haven't completed your program, but whatever mark sheets you have, send them to us. What we do is people who are in their final year, we do review their applications and we tell them that, hey, we will need some proof of completion by X date. So we will need some proof of completion of your program before the fall semester begins, in August. So by then, if you can submit either your mark sheets or some proof that you have completed this, even a letter at that point of time from your institution, from your registrar's office that you have completed the program should be enough. But whatever mark sheets you have for now, just make sure that they are submitted with your application. What is the different ways an international student can be eligible for in-state tuition? Great question. If you become a TA, you get in-state eligibility. If you get a scholarship, a Dean's Excellence Scholarship, and that comes with a tuition waiver, then that is another way of getting in-state tuition. Madhya, is programming background required for data analysis, data science track? As I just mentioned, it's recommended, but not like a mandatory thing. It's not like that if you don't have a programming background, we will say we will reject your application. But having said that, as I said, R, Python, even if you start with the basics, there are lots of self-paced resources available. And what we do is, as we get closer to the start of the semester, we start sharing stuff with our students to help them prepare. But whether you do it on your own or you come to UT Dallas to do it in the first semester, you will be able to do well. In fact, I was just invited to a class that we just offered for the first time in fall of 23. It's Foundations of Programming for Business Analytics. What we do in that class is we teach R, we teach Python, and some shell scripting. And students were able to do some amazing amount of work around the area of camera vision, analytics, machine learning in just 1 semester. And these are students who had no programming background and they were able to do so well. So I would say that we do have things available that you can take in the very first semester and get that training that is required to do well in the analytics program. Okay, Tushar, what percentage of class size receives scholarship on average? Well, this is a moving number. I would not say that it is fixed. It depends on, because when you apply, you're applying in a pool that is open to the entire school. So we don't give program-wise scholarships. We look at where you stand in the pool. But business analytics, being the largest program out there in the school, receives the biggest chunk of the scholarships. I would say that every year we have offered more and more just because we've had more students in the program and we are able to offer more. But that's a difficult number to give. But I would say one thing. In terms of support that students get, whether it is an incoming student scholarship, a second-year scholarship, TA-ship, or an on-campus job, more than 80% of our students find some kind of support. And they're able to do well. What are the various factors taken into consideration while providing scholarships? As I mentioned before, your profile, your test scores, your resume, everything is taken into consideration. Is the scholarship notification sent during the admission? It's not, because your admission and your scholarship will not happen at the same time. Once you have submitted your application, I would tell you to go and submit a scholarship application as well for the Flex program. And that way, once you're admitted, at that point of time, the committee will see, are you admitted? Do we have your official test scores? Do we have a scholarship application? Once it's a yes for all 3, then we will review your application and we'll see if you're able to give you a scholarship. Is a VES evaluation required while application? Not really. Don't don't go with it. It's more expensive. Send in your transcripts. We do it in-house, and it's much cheaper at UTD. There is a fee that is charged for it, but it's not compared to WES. I mean, WES is really expensive for you. Don't do that. How technical is the program? Have candidates from non-technical backgrounds been able to excel? Some of my best students are people who came from non-technical backgrounds, econ, commerce, these kind of backgrounds. They come from sales backgrounds. The thing is, whether you had business experience or you had a degree in a different domain, it gives you domain expertise. And when a student learns how to use numbers, learns how to do analytics, they're able to relate to it very well. I mean, for that matter, sometimes some of our students that struggle come from computer science background. And there are students who do extremely well, come from econ, commerce, non-CSIT backgrounds, humanities backgrounds, but they're able to do. To be very honest, everybody can do well in this program. That is given, It's like you want 100, you just put in 100, you'll get 100 back. Could you please tell us more about the scholarship program for international students? I think we just answered that question, but I would add to one more thing, that when you come in and you apply for a Dean's Excellence Scholarship as an incoming student, and let's say you don't receive it, or even if you receive it, every fall you can apply as a continuing student. And for continuing students, there is a Dean's Excellence Scholarship, there's a Dean's Impact Scholarship as well. So if you, let's say, you've been engaged in a lot of things on campus, that can help you get the Impact Scholarship. And then there's a plethora of donor scholarships that open up where different donors have come in and they've said, okay, if we have students who meet a certain criteria, we would like to give them a scholarship. So all those scholarships become available to you as a continuing student. What's the average living cost of a student? Well, I would say if you have $1,000 a month, that will help you. But again, this is it's a lifestyle thing. If you have an extravagant lifestyle, you're partying all the time, you need more money for parties. But don't worry on that. About, I would say, $1,000 a month will give you comfort. And plus, there are resources like we have something called the Comet Cupboard on campus, where students can pick up 3 items a week if they need. I mean, when I was a student here in 2015, I didn't go there all the time, but here and there, a box of cereals and a box of oats and some ramen packets is not too bad. Vedika, Sivi, would you like to take that question?
Yeah,
Vedika?
and you're going to step out, and I'll finish this up. Okay. So, Vidika, yes, we do accept 3-year bachelor's degrees. So go ahead and submit your application, and we will process it just the same as 4-year bachelor's degrees. Rohan, can you please repeat the LOR requirement? So letters of recommendation are required. There are 3 letters of recommendation that are required for a complete application. But if you have at least 2 years of work experience, then you are only required to have 1 letter of recommendation. You can submit more, but your application will be considered complete with 1. And that 1 letter of recommendation needs to come from a professional recommender. Doesn't necessarily need to be someone that you reported to, but someone you worked with in a professional capacity. Mitesh, you cannot get a scholarship based just on IELTS scores. A GMAT GRE score, official score, is required for an incoming student scholarship application. We've already talked about in-state tuition. Scheifel, is official documents mandatory for scholarship application? So your unofficial test scores, whether they be GMAT or GRE, are acceptable for your application. Official test scores must be on file for your scholarship application to be complete. So that is what is absolutely necessary to have the official version on file. I don't believe that official transcripts must be on file for your scholarship, but official test scores must be on file for your scholarship application to be complete. Shreya, what is the next process after submitting transcript? I'm not quite sure if you're talking about during the application or your official transcript after you've been admitted. So if you want to pop the follow-up to that in below. I will get to it when I get there. Sadiq, is it possible to get a full funded scholarship? It is not. We do not offer fully funded scholarships. It's just not something that JSOM or UTD offers. Shreya, can we submit, oh, this might be the rest of your question. Can we submit official transcript after coming to the university when classes start? So the university's preference is for official transcripts to be sent electronically. It speeds up the process. It takes care of all of that. There are students who come and bring with them their official transcripts. The thing you need to realize and make sure that you do, if that is what you are doing, it must be in a sealed, stamped envelope. You will turn it over to the university and you will not get it back. So please do not give them your official degree, your diploma. Do not do that. But if you have a hard copy of your official transcript in an envelope that is sealed and stamped from the issuing institution, and or that's what you choose to get, and you want to bring that with you, yes, the university has a Dropbox in the admission office where you can drop that off and they will process it to your account. But the preference would be for you to send it through TrueCopy or electronically. Your institution can email it to admission@utdallas.edu, singular. So that is preferred, but we do have students who still bring hard copies with them. My friend, I cannot answer questions about sponsorships and I-20s. The program doesn't handle I-20s. I-20s are exclusively handled by ISSO. So you'll need to follow the link that I posted above about I-20 estimates and reach out to ISSO. ISSO prospective, because you are prospective students. If you have further questions about that process or what is available to you. Siantan, for an average spring student, what would the timeline of 2 recommended internships look like? We need to spend 2 long semesters, right? So if you start at UTD in spring of 2024, international students are not eligible for an internship until they complete spring of 2024 and fall of 2024. So you're not eligible for an internship until spring of 2025. So starting in mid to late December of 24 or January of 2025. That would be the earliest you would be available. We have students who do internships every single semester, so there are definitely internships available. Let me know if that did not answer your question. Mitesh, I'm assuming you mean the MSBA program. You have to be a little bit careful about that because the MBA is another program, Master's in Business Administration. We don't have an acceptance rate. We don't have a cap on the number of students we admit. So we admit strong qualified applicants, and if we had 700 students start last fall, and we created enough sections for classes for them to be able to enroll. So I don't know the acceptance rate. We just admit strong qualified applicants. Sadiq, I'm not sure what you are interested in. Preeti, placement assistance. So the onus is on each student to find their own internship. We do not say, here is your internship for this semester. But the university, JSOM, and the program all have a plethora of resources available to our students. The University Career Center has career fairs every semester, a normal day as well as a STEM day. The JSOM has a career management center that has endless resources, endless events, recruiters, companies coming in, programming that they do that you can go to. They also provide resume writing assistance. They do mock interviews. There's a business communication center that can help you with writing your cover letter, things like that. And then at the program level, we create resume books and we have career fairs every semester. So there are lots of opportunities for our students to network, meet people, go to events, learn about things, figure out what lane you need assistance in, maybe, but the job is yours to find. We will not place you or give you an internship, but we will provide resources to help you through that process. If you're interested in supply chain management, I suggest you reach out to them. All we're going to be talking about is the Masters in Business Analytics. Debasmita. So are CPT credits chargeable? So that's a great question. We created an opportunity a few years ago for our students to do their first internship for 0 credits. Only your first internship can be 0 credit. And 0 credit means you go through the process to have your internship approved. You are enrolled in a course, but the course is 0 credit, so you owe no tuition. So you pay no fee for that course. If you're enrolled in other courses simultaneously, there will be tuition due for that course. But if you choose a 0 credit internship and only your first internship can be 0 credit, then you would pay no tuition. Excuse me, what is the minimum number of credits needed to fulfill the MSBA Flex program? So the MSBA program is a 36 credit program. 6 classes are core, so 18 credits are core, and 6 classes or 18 credits are electives. There is the prerequisite of MAS 6102, which is our professional development 1 credit course. So that 1 credit does not count towards your 36 for the degree. So you will most likely graduate with at least 37 credits, but the degree is 36 credits. Rohan, the process for submitting your LOR is when you submit your application, you will input the email address of your recommenders. They should get it through that and they can submit it that way. If that does not work, if there is a glitch, if they do not receive it, recommenders can email letters of recommendation themselves directly to JSOM GR Advising. And I'll put that in the chat so you have it. And they can send their letter of recommendation from their email so that they can be verified to JSOM GR Advising, and they will attach it to your application. Tushar, can you please shed some light on the visa process and the flow of steps that need to be undertaken? So here is the thing, like I said, the program doesn't handle anything with visas or I-20s. I provided the link already above to the next steps for new international students, as well as the visa and I-20 information and charges. You'll have to refer to those websites or reach out to ISSO Prospective if you have further questions about that process. Alina, are students who don't submit GRE scores negatively affected in their application? No. You will not be eligible to apply for the scholarship because the scholarship requires test scores, but we have many students who are automatically eligible for a GMAT or GRE waiver or who request waiver consideration. It does not affect, you're not viewed negatively. If you request GMAT or GRE waiver consideration, what happens is they go through your application once they have everything except for those test scores, and they determine whether or not they can offer you a waiver. If they can, they move your application forward and you've received a waiver. If they cannot, it does not mean you are rejected or denied. It simply means that they cannot move forward with your application until you provide test scores. Tushar, how does the academic calendar look? So fall is August to December, spring is January to May, and summer is May to August. Summer is an optional term for F1 students. There are students who choose to take classes that semester. There are students who choose not to. Domestic students can take classes that semester as well. The academic calendar website is a wonderful one to bookmark because it has past semesters' academic calendars. So you can get a sense. It has unofficial versions of upcoming semesters. It's a really wonderful one to get a sense of when semesters begin and end. So Sadiq, we talked about this. There is no application fee waiver that we offer. John B, do we need to submit official copies for enrollment of classes? Because I already mentioned I'm still pursuing my bachelor's. So this is what you need to submit what you have, and they will work with you if you do not have it when enrollment begins. But usually they do not require it for enrollment in your incoming semester, that your official everything, if you're graduating, is already on file. But you'll need to work with the Office of Admission. I already put that email address in there to see if you'll have any holds or if they can move the hold so that you can enroll, and then they'll put the hold back on, and then the onus will be on you to make sure that you get those official documents in place before registration for the second semester opens up, because at that point, they will not push any hold because you have had plenty of time to get official documents. The application fee is $50. The foreign credentialing fee is $50, and the late application fee is $75. So if you apply before the late deadline, then the total fee for international students would be $100. Lavanya, can you please confirm what are the starting and ending application dates for fall 2024? Great. So fall 2024's application is already open, and the deadline to avoid a late application fee is May 1st. March 1st for summer, May 1st for fall. So as long as you apply anytime between now and May 1st, you will just pay the $50 application fee, and if you are an international applicant, the $50 foreign credentialing fee. If you're applying for fall and you apply after May 1st, there will then also be a $75 late application fee. Sayanta, how many credits can we take during the summer semester? So during fall and spring, graduate students are considered full-time with 9 credits, which is 3 classes. But as Professor Shekhar was saying, some students take more. The decision is up to you. Summer is, instead of a 16-week term, it's an 11-week term, but it's the same amount of information you're having to learn. So graduate students are considered full-time with 6 credits in the summer. Again, it's an optional term unless it is your intake term. Unless you're starting the program in summer as an international student, if you start in summer, you have to take 6 credits. If you start in spring or fall, and you choose to take classes in summer, then you can take as many or as few as you want. So you could take a 0-credit internship, you could take a 3-credit course, 2 3-credit courses, taking 6 credits. The decision is up to you. And yes, we do have, Alina, we do have rolling admission. Applications are reviewed once they're complete. So once all of the pieces are submitted and everything is there, they then move it on for a holistic review. So they don't start reviewing applications piecemeal as they come in, because we have a holistic review where we look at everything, all of the pieces, your resume, your personal statement, your transcript, your test scores, and your letters of recommendation. All of those have to be present for your application to move to review. But it is all done on a rolling basis. So if you apply now, applicants typically hear 4 to 6 weeks after they submit a complete application. And Tushar, what is the average class size? It depends. So most of our classes are capped at 40 or 60. You might find some classes that have less than 40. You might find some classes that have more than 60. But our classes tend to be in that range. Okay, I've worked through all of the questions. I hope that was helpful. I know that I am not Program Director Professor Shekhar, but I hope that thank you for respecting the need for me to step in and answer the rest of these questions. If you have any other questions, please feel free to type them in. You're very welcome. We will post this on YouTube, and the email will also be sent with the link. This was our last webinar for 2023. So happy holidays, happy new year to everyone. We will come out with a schedule for our information sessions for 2024. But if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out. I will put the program email in here as well so that you can reach out to us if you have any further questions. And the YouTube channel does also have all of our past webinars. So if you want to view any previous ones, you can. This will also be where today's will be posted if you missed the email or want to access it a different way. So, I think I put the tuition. Oh, no, sorry, that was something else. So there is the YouTube link. Any other questions? Otherwise, enjoy your evening, enjoy your day. Stay healthy, stay safe. Happy New Year. Thank you for joining us.